Gabrielle had to help me because I had never seen this done before. And basically, it's opening a bottle, in this case, a Magnum of champagne with this saber. And the saber is, it's a sword, I don't know.
Curved blade.
Yeah, curved blade. It's about, 14, 16 inches long. Pretty big.
Good EDC size, huh?
Yeah, and I had no idea what to do with this because, growing up in Brooklyn, we never had champagne opened with a saber.
Welcome to the KnifeWife podcast. I'm Suz, married to Bob Terzuola. This podcast is about couples who live, love, and work together. And has little to do with knives.
Welcome to the KnifeWife podcast. I'm Suz Terzuola, and next to me is...
And this is Bob, right here. Welcome back.
We are recording in our hotel room in Venice, Italy. We are at the...
St. Regis Hotel. Very nice, right on the water. Of course, in Venice, everything is right on the water.
Well, not really.
Pretty
you can
close.
Have a lot of places
Pretty
not on
close.
The water. Anyway, so if you listen to the Beller episode, thank you, Richard Beller.
Thank you.
For getting
gracias.
Our beautiful room at such a reduced rate that, schlubs like us can afford it. Anyway, so we wanted to talk a little bit about, on this episode, Bob's 80th birthday, in which at Blade Show last year, we had talked about coming here during these weeks for Bob's birthday, that it would be really nice to have his birthday in Italy with our friends. And Alex and Jen said, oh, well, we'd like to go. And we said, sure, come along. And then our friends in Germany had said they would like to come. But at the Blade Show, Gabrielle at Fox Knives, we were sitting there with him and doing some business and told him this. And Bob blurted out sort of, well, Susie, she always has to do a big deal and have these big parties, and I'm turning 80, and I'm not really thrilled about it. And
I would like to keep it low-key and not let anybody know, and just kind of sotto voce, as they say, under the table.
Yeah, kind of slide into that 80th year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was loud at Blade Show and Bob's hearing. So what he didn't see was Gabrielle looked me right in the eye. He pulled down his left eyelid and said, oh, no one will know. And he told us then that the Knife Festival, it would be on Bob's 80th birthday, which Bob joked and said,
they're going to have a party just for me, the whole town.
There we go.
Now, Maniago, let's explain Maniago.
Yeah, let's explain. You go explain Maniago.
Okay, Maniago is a small town nestled in the mountains near the Adriatic in eastern Italy. And it's where they make all of the knives, swords, farm implements also, and scissors and shears for pruning and so forth. It's the knife making, huh?
A lot of swords.
Swords. I thought I mentioned swords. If you ever need a sword, the good place to get one is in Maniago. Anyway, Maniago is the metalworking sword, knife, metal implement center of Italy.
It is, and it's a quaint little town. And so before we got there for many months, Gabrielle and his assistant Athena have been emailing me, and they booked hotel reservations for everybody and restaurants for us to eat at when we were there. And it was kind of hard because of the festival. We couldn't go to maybe some of the little restaurants right in town because they didn't want to take reservations for this many people. There were a lot of us. We thought we would be 10. We ended up with 8. All Italian wives were left at home. And so off we went. So in Milan, ahead of time, our friends Steve and Fausto, Steve helped to rent what I call the church bus. We got a 9-passenger van, and our friends from Germany were meeting us in Maniago. They drove, which was a long drive, and they drove through rain, and it was not easy. So anyway, on the Friday morning, the day before Bob's birthday, we loaded up Alex and Jen and Fausto and Steve and Bob and myself and all our luggage as we checked out of our hotel in Milan. And it held everything beautifully. And I had a bag of snacks, which only Fausto and I seemed to eat. We had some cookies, we had some taralli, we had licorice. Anyway, I brought grapes, and I had bought grapes and washed them, and I had napkins. I was ready for the family vacation. Chevy Chase should have been along, but anyway.
We should explain Steve and Fausto.
Yeah?
Two friends of ours, Italian, both of them from Milano. We've known them many years. They were collectors of my knives way back when I started going to the show in Milano. And they became very close friends. And for my 70th birthday, they also showed up in Albuquerque, much to my surprise and chagrin, because they sneaked in. Susie knew they were coming, and we had a guest house, and they sneaked into the guest house late at night. And I was sleeping in bed, and I was awakened. I think Susie kind of
Said, someone's here to
said,
see you, Bob.
"Someone's here to see me," and I sleepily opened up my eyes, just barely able to see, and there they were. They had kind of undressed and gotten ready for bed, and were wrapped in towels and bathrobe, and there they were at our bedroom door. Steve and Fausto's wife Libe, and I just couldn't believe it. I said, "Who are these people? Am I dreaming that they come from Italy for my birthday?" And they did.
Right. And someone had let the cat out of the bag for your birthday party, so I actually that worked out the best. But Bob had no idea that people from all over the world were going to come for that birthday.
We had friends from Russia, from Canada, many states, Italy. I was quite impressed and felt very loved.
Yeah. Apparently, people like you, Bob.
I don't know. I think they just came for the food.
Anyway, so we all got into the church van and we drove to Maniago, and Steve had a great idea of visiting a winery the next day for lunch where they make Prosecco. And I'm, I love French champagne, but I do love a good Prosecco. I don't like the horrible stuff they sometimes have in restaurants in America. But anyway, so Friday night we went to dinner. Saturday morning, we got about 10 o'clock. We got in the church van again. We had to be back in Maniago for the festival, and it's called the Coltello in Festa.
Coltello in Festa.
Yes.
The knife festival, basically.
So we got in the car, and the kids did not join us. They went on a hike because, they haven't had enough hikes in Colorado. They had to go on more hikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was okay. And we went to the winery Borgoluce.
Borgoluce, that's right. That's the name of it.
We went with our friends Reggie and Jojo from Germany, and Steve and Fausto, and the big kids went there, and we got a tour of the winery. And they have farm animals and make their own buffalo mozzarella, and they have cows, and for their other cheeses they make, and it's quite a production. And it was owned by a count who had 5 daughters, and he left little parts of things to different daughters. But 2 of the daughters developed this huge winery and have made it they don't put wine in casks there. They put it in these giant
stainless steel towers, actually, is what they are.
Towers that were 20 feet tall. But anyway, they still did a good job. So we had a great lunch there and some laughs. And
3 kinds of Prosecco.
Yep, the lowest sugar to the highest sugar. And I preferred the muddy lowest one that was the least sweet. Some people at the table like the most sweet ones. I had a taste of each, and then I passed my glasses on. I'm not much of a drinker these days. My body just does not like alcohol now. So you guys can have mine. That's what I say. Anyway, so part of this birthday celebration that I was planning and scheming were hats. I wanted something for us to all have that commemorated this 80th birthday, because I'm far from 80 now. And, if I make it to 80, I'll be a happy camper, But anyway, so I had gone online and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had fedoras and had like Bob's dragon or something on the hat band of the fedora. And so this company, I won't name their name, I've ordered other things from for movie costumes and whatever. They had a black fedora. It was a woven straw one, but they had black. And I said, can I get a red headband? Because Bob's colors of his, logo are black and red. And so they said yes, and you can get them. I would have them in plenty of time to put them in a suitcase. And I said, I'll bring another suitcase if I have to. We got 2 suitcases with our tickets. And I'll put the hats in there. And I bought some foam, which my movie people who are listening, how to make a hat fit is to put a little insulation foam you use around doors and stuff for your house. It comes in a roll. Mm-hmm. And you put a little piece of that inside the hat band and it fits any head. So only it's good enough for, a movie, or good enough, maybe not for every day for some hat you wear, for a year every day. But for this was perfect.
So you ordered a bunch of these.
I did. I ordered a lot of them, and they were not very expensive, but you had to order a lot of them in order to get them. And so, and that, just getting them right with the hat band, with the graphic on them and all that, was easily 50 emails back and forth with this guy and several phone calls. So, but he's going to have them there. He's going to have them ready. Bob found the hat, and he, in one of our deep dives or one of our shop talk things, you started it with the hat on. So he knew the hats were coming, and he thought it was crazy. And I ordered enough to have for here, and then for some at home. I knew people would want to probably buy them. And then a few of our friends, when we get back home, we're going to have a little celebration with them because they want to celebrate Bob's birthday. So we had a lot of hats, more hats than you can imagine. And so they did not arrive. And I'm emailing this guy, they should have been there weeks before they were. And he said, they said there was a problem or there was whatever. So we left for Italy without the hats. And I said, well, since I'm not going to have these hats, I want a refund. So they gave me a full refund. I just checked it. They did. And the hats arrived the day after we left. And so the Italians here, Steve and Fausto, knew about the hats. And so Fausto said, well, what if you send them FedEx? And he gave me some things. And so I had a guy, Jason, thank you, who's babysitting, house sitting. The hats were FedExed for $200 to the hotel. And then FedEx called me because they got there the day before we got to the hotel in Maniago. And FedEx said to me, I don't know where they were calling me from. It was not America. And they said, well, your box is there. Aren't you going to sign for it? I said, well, I'm not there. And they were like, what? Anyway, I said, well, I'm not there.
The box is there. We're not there.
Yeah. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. Don't worry. The hotel can take them. Well, they'll keep them safe. And so when we got to the hotel, we got our cards for our rooms and whatever. I came back down and I said, is there a package here or a box here? And the woman did not speak English that well. She did not know what a box was. She did not know what a package was. So I got out a piece of paper and I drew a box. And she said, oh, yes. It was right next to her where she was standing, a giant box of these hats.
The size of a big desk.
Yes. So we had the hats, and you've probably seen pictures on social media because the hats looked great on everybody.
They did. They really did. They were such a big hit.
They were a big hit, and I knew they would be a big hit. Yeah. And my partner in crime here was not thrilled with these hats when I told him about the hats. He was like, oh, what the?
Yeah, but I finally came around.
You did come around. Anyway, and so what was fun was, people our age don't usually wear fedoras. And, you don't wear that, but it's a good hat for a godfather, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody kind of hammed it up when they got their pictures taken with that. And all the Fox people at their booth at the show were wearing them, and we gave them out. There was a group of collectors, which Bob can tell you about. It's a knife group that's I don't know where they all live, but anyway, but some of our biggest collectors and frequent posters on the website, the Facebook fan group. I'm sorry, not website, and Instagram are people I had never met. I met them all, and one of the guys, Mario, had.
Some pretty ancient knives, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they had knives from the beginning, which you saw clips and you saw things that I've only seen pictures of these. We don't have any of these knives at home, but
Yeah.
what did he have?
Some of them were probably among the very, very first folding knives they ever made, which would have been 1986, 1987, probably. They were slightly different shapes than the ones I'm making now, but you can see the genesis from those shapes, especially the ATCF, which is my 4-inch basic tactical folder.
And they had OGs. Steve and Fausto had OGs.
They had the new ones.
But they had the new ones
OGs.
from Fox, yeah.
The OGs, the original gangsters, made by Fox in Maniago. And Mario and some of the other fellas, one of the fellas in the group, the collectors group, it's kind of like a little club, I think they call them, Rule Number 9.
And with a monkey as their symbol, and they gave you a T-shirt.
Right. I do have the T-shirt. One of them had 2 of my early fixed blades, a Model 36 and a Model 30. And he had it mounted in a beautiful shadow box, a glass front, beautifully made wood with kind of a camouflage material background and several military patches and a couple of emblems and so forth. One of them was EOD and Jungle Warfare one.
What does Les always say? Les, the knife maker, always cut the red first.
Oh, yeah, he was a EOD.
Yeah.
He's an EOD technician, a bomb technician, explosive ordnance disposal. And every time we'd talk to him and chat with him, he'd always end up by saying, cut the red wire first.
Yes. So he must have been right because he's still here. And
he's still here and he's got all his fingers and toes.
And I think he's had 187 of them, which then it was time for him to opt out because the odds were against him. So anyway, so we have this festival. We're all walking around in these hats. People are looking at us like, who are these people in these hats? What are they? And our German friends people said to them, where do you get those hats? How can we get those hats? And we gave away the rest of them, whatever we had practically.
I think we had like 45 of them, or 50, didn't we?
So then when we were at Fox's booth, I knew that Gabrielle they were planning something special. And when I had been at the factory the day before for a tour that we had, I saw these, and I had seen them before. They're called a champagne saber.
A sommelier champagne saber.
Okay, so I can't even imagine a sommelier using one of these in a restaurant. But anyway, so they gave a beautiful one to Bob, and we'll post pictures of it on Instagram and the Facebook fan page. I think I already posted some pictures.
Nicely engraved.
Engraved for Bob for his birthday. And then they gave him a card that they made from Fox, and they had everybody who works there signed it, including Gabrielle's daughter, which we met.
Francesca.
We saw her, and we met Gabrielle's mother.
His mother for the first time. Yes, I knew his dad, Oreste, who started the factory. I knew him since 1991 or 92. We met at the SHOT Show. And he passed away a couple of years ago. Yeah. But I had never met his mom. And we met his mom at the show, at the festival on my birthday.
So then the time came, and all of a sudden these trays with cicchetti, which we're going on a cicchetti tour later today.
They're like, explain that. They're like little canapes.
They're like pieces of Italian bread sliced, and on top of them can be anything. I've seen a little squid. I've seen tomatoes and cheese. They had lots of kinds. Anyway, so they brought trays of those. And then out came a magnum of champagne, and they gave Bob, he opened the box that had the saber in it. Mm-hmm. It was engraved. And then Gabrielle had
to help me because I had never seen this done before. And basically, it's opening a bottle, in this case, a Magnum, of champagne with this saber. And the saber is, it's a sword, I don't know.
Curved blade.
Yeah, curved blade. It's about, 14, 16 inches long. Pretty big.
Good EDC size, huh?
Yeah, and I had no idea what to do with this because, growing up in Brooklyn, we never had champagne opened with a saber. I'd never even seen it done before. But anyway, Gabrielle said, well, don't worry, I'll help you with it. So I was holding the bottle and he was holding the bottle. And my idea was that you run the saber up the bottle all the way towards the cork, and then it's supposed to pop the cork off. And that's what I thought.
Right. And that when I was watching this, I thought, Bob, think this through. One, he's unwired the cap of the champagne. He's unwired the thing. And if you were to slice into that, it would slice it off. It wouldn't pull it out, probably.
Yeah.
But Bob didn't know that. So
what do I know?
It took a few tries.
It took a few tries because I was kind of holding back because I didn't want to break the glass. I thought we were just supposed to pop the cork off. And nobody explained to me that the whole point of doing this is that you hit that lip, the glass lip of the opening of the bottle, and you're supposed to snap off that top of the bottle at the neck.
And you did.
And we eventually did. I think we have some movies of it.
Yeah, we did. We took a movie of it.
We finally got that done. And then I realized, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Right. And then there were two more.
And then there were two more. They had 3 magnums of champagne, which was very impressive.
Yeah, very nice. And the champagne was good.
It was excellent.
I'm pretty much a champagne snob. I'm not a snob for bourbon or any hard liquors because everyone who knows me knows how I feel about ingesting that poison. But anyway, it was lovely. We had a great time.
We did.
And the crowds dissipated you've seen pictures, I'm sure, on social media.
So one of the things they had me doing, we didn't mention so far, is that they had set up a little table at their booth, which was kind of a large booth. And the booths were very medieval-looking tents on the street. And they had all the streets were lined with these fringed type of tents.
They're like ones you have in America, but they had a scalloped or coupe front around them. Yeah.
And they'd set up a table for me with cards for me to sign. And I had brought my little diamond engraver, a little motorized diamond engraver for engraving glass and so forth. And a lot of people asked me to sign their knife blades. And that's what I did.
You signed people's T-shirts. You signed people's sweatshirts.
You signed hat bands.
Hat bands. You signed so many things.
And books. We had some books
We
there.
had brought some books, and they went in 5 minutes. And, bringing books that weigh 2 pounds apiece, I had a suitcase just for all the stuff to bring to Fox and all this stuff. So
I didn't know so many people wanted my signature.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even know what it says. I don't know how I can really read it. But anyway, so you signed all the books, and they were gone in 5 minutes, and I have to send one to another guy who I promised a book, but he wasn't there when we got there. So anyway, so that was really fun. We went back to the hotel and warmed up a little. We all got kind of cold outside.
It was pretty chilly. Yeah, remember Maniago's way up in the mountains.
I know. And then we had dinner at our hotel. And that was, and my friend from Germany, Reggie, I said, they always give you one candle at these things. I said, could you find some candles? I said, I was going to get a candle. And in the meantime, all day, people had been posting pictures and sending notes and whatever. Chris Schluter did the numbers 80 out of a bunch of out of Bob's Knives, and that was great. And all these people sent him things and, well wishes. Our friends from San Diego had the hats on. They sent a picture of that. Bob felt pretty loved. The kids from Guatemala made a video saying, happy birthday. And
it was quite a memorable birthday. Thank you to everybody who participated and did that.
Yeah. And so we had dinner with friends in the hotel, but the hotel had a wedding in the dining room. So we were in the lobby of the hotel at this table, and the first table they gave us was like from Downton Abbey. there was 8 of us, and we were so far apart, we had to yell to each other. So as soon as they took our order for our food, we got up and we moved all our plates and cups down to one end.
Scrunched up a little bit
We
closer.
scrunched up a little bit, and that was a little more intimate. We still, across from each other, you needed a microphone.
Yeah, it was a big table.
So, but anyway, it was a lovely time, and so Reggie had gotten the candles, and they what they did was they just very Italian style lined the edge of the cake. I don't know how many candles were on there. All I know is when they brought the cake out, and of course it comes out, things are done with style and class here. So the cake came out on this rolling cart with a tablecloth and whatever, with tulle underneath the cake, and it was
Millefoglie,
Yes.
which is a multi-layered, very thin crust type of cream cake.
cream cake with fruit,
Yeah.
with fruit sauce. So anyway, so it came out, and I saw the candles on it, and I thought to myself, if I had to blow those out with one take, I don't know if I could do it. So they rolled it, they brought it in front of Bob, and we sang, as you do, happy birthday. And this guy took a deep breath, and he snuffed them all out in
One big breath.
Right, and what did I say when you did that?
I'm full of hot air.
Exactly.
She's been saying that for years, and I finally proved it.
There we go. Anyway, so that's pretty much his birthday. We have more to tell you. We're going to do another podcast. We went to see some art shows in Milan, and we went to see, and I also discovered a comedian in Italy called Mago Forrest, who, I don't know, look him up on, I'll post it, but
We'll have a show about Milan. We'll have a podcast about Milan
Yeah.
and our adventures there, and seeing some very controversial artwork.
not so controversial for me, but controversial between Bob and I. So that'll be kind of an interesting, I think that will be our most interesting podcast, because I believe we will be arguing for all of you to hear. Anyway, so now we're going to close this podcast and thank everybody for listening.
And all those who participated in my birthday, thank you for that. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Felt very loved, very warm, surrounded by friends from all over. We want to say thanks to everybody, and especially the Italian folks who helped put all this together, and Steve and Fausto, who got the van, what we call the church van.
Church bus.
I guess it's a church bus or something like that. Did the driving, took care of the tolls, and found out how to go from Milan to Maniago and then to Venice.
And then they dropped us off in Venice.
Dropped us off in Venice.
Loaded
yeah.
us up. What was really funny, and they don't know this, we have to tell them this, is there was a lady from America on the dock when we were getting the water taxi when we got to Venice. And she thought Steve and Fausto worked for the water taxi company. And she said, should I ask those guys? They seem to know what they're doing. I said, those are our friends. She goes, those are your friends? I'm like, yes, they are.
Yes.
Anyway, so, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now. Yeah, arrivederci.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please share this with a friend and subscribe where you listen to podcasts. Please support our efforts through Patreon at TheKnifeWife, and for all Terzuola goodness, go to Terzuola.net. And remember, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Comments and questions can be made on Instagram at The KnifeWife Podcast or our Facebook group, The KnifeWife Podcast. And if you're a couple who work together and would like to be on our podcast, tell us about yourself with an email at eccentricsuz.com or terzuola.net.